All right, we're going to be looking at something called kind old words. And basically what they are they're words that are made up of blends that are not regular, but they're really common. You see these words all the time, but they have a different kind of spelling. And what makes them strange is that the vowel in each of these endings has a long sound. And typically you would think you would read this if it followed the rules. You'd read this as ild, but it's not. It's going to be ild with that long sound. This should be ald, but it's not. It's going to be old. This one will be eind. This one will be olt, and then this blend will be ost, and that's what makes it different. Now, why are these words different than our other words? It's because remember that our language is made up of words from all around the world, and we call these words fossil words. You know what a fossil is. A fossil is something that's very old. Well, these are very old word endings that have kind of stuck around, and we have them. We see them a lot, even though they kind of break the rules. So let's take a look at some of these. So the first one is, let's see what we have here. I-L-D. And you say this as ild. Now, where are you going to see this ending blend? Well, you're going to see it in the word child and wild. Can you think of some? Take a moment. You may have thought of mild, like it's very mild. It's not very cold, but it's not very hot either. And those are some words that have the ild ending blend to them. Let's take a look at another one. Old. Now, that in itself is a word, but it could also be a word ending. And you'll see that in bold. You'll see it in fold. Can you think of some? Take a moment. Pause this video. Maybe you thought of gold or mold. Hold. Lots of different words have this. It's very common to see words that end in this ending. Let's take a look at another one. Ind. You read this as eind. You'll find this in the word bind, find. Now here's a tricky one. W-I-N-D. This is one of those words that can be pronounced both ways. You could read it as wind, like it's very windy outside, but it's also pronounced wind, like you wind up something. So that one is a little bit tricky, but usually when you see the IND, it's going to have the IND sound in them. Think of a couple of other words. Do you know some other words? I'm thinking of, let's see, kind and mind. Like, do you mind if you help me? Lots of different words. Let's take a look at another kind old word ending. Olt. You see it in bolt, like a bolt of lightning. Colt, a young horse. Jolt, like a sudden jolt when you're shocked. Can you think about other words? Here's something. Cool word. Molten, like molten lava, like liquid, hot lava. And finally, the last kind old word ending is ost. You see this in a lot of words that you're going to be reading. Most, post, almost. And by the way, this is not the only way to make the ost sound, but it is one of the more common ways to make ost. So, how do you learn these? Well, you just have to get practice really reading them. Let's go over what they sound like. Ild, old, eind, olt, and ost. And you'll find these at the end of words. We call them kind old words.